Thanks to everyone who have subscribed. If you have not, please do. And thanks for coming out here. I really appreciate you. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Apparently, the children feeding of the federal government has sparked nationwide protest. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Yes, the federal government of Nigeria cannot feed the Amajiri children, but yet they want to feed school children that are at home. By the way, I don't know if you, in whatever state you are, wherever you are around Nigeria, if your children have had any of this benefit from the federal government. They came the other time that they were sharing palliative. My dear, I did not receive it and it did not get to my state. So I don't know if it got to your state. Please, if it got to your state, could you please let us know? Let us know indeed if these palliatives and all these things they say they are sharing is getting to Nigerians. Because honestly, truly and really, it has not gotten to me or any member of my family or anybody around that I know. And we've also asked questions. I've gotten a few responses from some states that said they've not received any such. So I just want to know. Again, federal government said they are feeding school children and the children are at home. So this is a daylight legal stealing by Buhari's administration and nobody, they are legally stealing this money. And if you ask them, they will tell you it was in the nationwide papers. They've done this, they've done that. They are feeding the school children, but nobody's receiving it. Just a handful of people is receiving it. Anyway, let's get to the news and get the details in full. Nans plans nationwide protest as federal government insists on feeding school children. The National Assembly of Nigerian Students on Friday said it will mobilize its members for a nationwide protest if federal government continue its school feeding program during school closure because of the COVID-19 pandemic. This is as the federal government on Friday explained that it's continued the home school feeding of children program because it was practically impossible to get by the fund that are already been paid to food vendor before lockdown in states commenced. NAS President Akpan, in a statement in Abuja, said the program was a misplaced priority and a discredit attempt to flee the hard-earned resources of the country. It's just another manipulative system to drain money from Nigeria. He said, the national body of NAS, after a deliberate and robust discussion on the federal government's decision to continue the school feeding program during a virtual meeting held earlier this morning, Friday, rejected and condemned it totally and said the decision was unwise. We condemn it totally, the plan to feed school children at home. We see it as an avenue of corruption, fraudulent activities, and another step in withdrawing money from the nation's treasury. We do not only condemn this, we also frown at its attempt by some people further to look at to loot our national treasury. The continuation of feeding school children program at this time, even when it is closed, it shows you that they've already written off this money, but they have to legally prove it. So it's an attempt of legal looting from the national treasury of the country. If the federal government goes ahead to implement the program, we will have no choice but to mobilize our members across the federation for a murder of all protests. Akpan called on the federal government to use the money meant for the execution of that program to review the collapsed educational system fund infrastructure product of the higher institutions. Explaining by the federal government went ahead with the program despite the lockdown of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia, urged Nigerians to support the scheme. How can we support a scheme when these children are at home? She spoke in Abuja on the daily briefing of the Federal Task Force on COVID-19 and stressed that environment could not get back the fund it has already invested in the hands of vendors of the food item. Sadia said because of the program was already ongoing, food vendor has already been contracted and mobilized for the project. We are also mindful of the fact that most vendors have mobilized item purchase and this can no longer be refunded to the state. This is this has been done before the school calendar was disrupted in the light of the demanding of COVID-19. So therefore, we cannot refund the money. However, we have to continue to be able to justify the money. So that you just said the truth at the very end. You have to justify your reason from stealing from the national treasury. Even, Students Union, NAS, has said that this program, is a way of stealing from the country again and again and again. In open daylight, Buhari's administration is giving you reason why they are stealing. Why? So that when they are out of office and you call upon them to say, where did this money go? They will clearly declare to you, showing you with proof, with statements that they did not steal the money, but it was an attempt to feed school children. Did you really feed school children? And we had sources the other time that was being driven out of school because of school fees, that have not eaten and everything. Nigerians, hey, Buhari's administration came on the bank that they were fighting corruption. My dear, they came in order to loot more and more and more from the country. And it's evident. You can see it for yourself. They came to take money from the national treasury to enrich themselves, I can tell you. I'm not telling you feebles. I am telling you what is going on. Because currently, Buhari's administration is probing Goodluck Jonathan administration, the administration that handed over to it. That's the way they do. They keep checkmating each other when they're out of office. Yes, but guess what? What he's doing is not, I'm not saying probing one another is wrong. Oh, wait. So that when Buhari has gone out of office and somebody else comes in, they will say, oh, this money that was from the school, what was it meant for? Then they will tell you without mixing of words that this was what they used this program for. This was what the money was meant for. That there are evidences to show, indeed, that they spent this money for this purpose. That's all they are doing. That is all they are doing. Justifying stealing from the country. Justifying stealing from the national treasury. My people, Nigerians, now so then they do. Oh, this is what they do. And that's why we must rise up and kick against this evil of why they are spending this so amount of money. You heard that explanation. He said money has been already been given to vendors. I want to really ask, in your state, how many children are being fed? I just want to know. Are children in your school, in your state, government school children, are they really getting this school feeding? Or maybe it's just me that is not hearing of it. From your state, are children in school getting fed by the government? That when they come to school, they get fed by the government. I just want to know because I don't understand it. In my state, although they are not getting fed, so I just want to understand what is really going on, to understand what the government is doing and how they justify the stealing. And yet, they are all religious. If they are not Christians, they are Muslims or traditional worshippers. And each of these religion, speak against, oppressing your neighbor. But they oppress Nigeria in broad daylight. They come there, every one of them having that innocent look, covering their body. But the funniest thing is that they cannot wear more than one cloth at a time. When they die, look at this woman, a former minister of petroleum. You saw that her building in Lagos has just been given over to Lagos State for isolation center. That's besides the money she looted. Oh. You know how she died? Cancer at the end. So all the money in the world, the day you died, your whole reputation is gone. If I see her children on the way, I will say, first thing that comes, as soon as they mention that, oh, my mother was the former, also that thief. That thief. So what does it profit when you steal, all to amass wealth for yourself? How much can you really spend? How much can a single human being really spend? Do you know how much of Nigerian money is outside this country? Only Abacha's look at what he can, look at the project he can execute. And they also think, according to them, they're also thinking of bringing up a scheme that will be able to enhance the youth to be able to get jobs. So imagine, that's why I don't know if Dangote steals, but I appreciate him for one thing, bringing, investing in Nigeria. Whether you like it or not, with Dangote's company, there are people who are working in that company as drivers, Nigerians. People who are working in the industries. There are professional people, there are many jobs, workers as well. That is one good thing. Why not invest in this country? Employ Nigerians. It will help the problem of unemployment. Anyway, that's our take on this matter. What are your thoughts? Don't forget to thumbs up for us, like and share. Click on the notification button so you can get all our latest news. For we are here to keep you up to date. Remember to stay safe. God bless. Bye for now.